Being nice versus being honest.
Where do you draw the line?
We'll find out. Hello, I'm Sandra Jones-Keller, author of 21 Lessons to Empower the New Age Kid.
And I'm Thomas
This is
Keller.
my husband, Thomas Keller. He's ready to jump right in this time.
So we were at a social event, and we were with our daughter, and there were a lot of parents and a lot of children. And so my daughter's 12 years old now, and she was off with friends. And an acquaintance of hers approached her and asked her for her email address. And I think my daughter said what?
I said I don't give out my email to people, and then she was like, okay, and then she said, should I go ask your parents? And I just kind of
Brushed it off.
over it.
So she brushed it off, and then this acquaintance came over to my wife, and I was sitting next to her at a table, and she said what to you?
She said, can I have Mecca's email address? And I said, well, did you ask her for it? And she's like, well, she said, ask you. And I said, okay. So I gave her Mecca's email address.
So in the side of my ear, I heard her say, I'll give you her email address. And I'm thinking for an instant there, why would my daughter send this person over to mom to ask for the email address? I had the inclination that my daughter did not want to give this person her email address, but I didn't interrupt them at the time. So what happened?
So I was trying to be nice, and I gave her the email address, even though I knew that my daughter probably didn't want to. And so for me, I was around other people, and I didn't want to make a big deal out of it. And so instead of being honest or true to what I thought my daughter would probably want, I caved in. And I was trying to be nice. And
She gave out her email address.
And we know what trying to be nice falsely does. It's not a good energy, and it's not cool. And then I tried to justify it a little bit. I owned up to it.
Yeah, so this acquaintance then left with our daughter's email address.
And you busted me out.
And I asked Sandra, what was she doing? What was she thinking? Why did she give her that email address? It didn't make sense that she was sent over here after just talking to our daughter. And so what my wife realized was she, in a social situation like that, it was more pressing for her to appear to be nice than just to be honest and say something like, I don't give out my daughter's email address, a blanket statement like that.
And so the reason that we're even bringing this up and the reason that we're talking is because I realized that is not something that I want to teach Mecca. I don't want to teach her to try to be nice and do things that she doesn't want to do. That's like against everything that we talk about, universal law, against everything. So then here I was doing the exact opposite of what I want her to do. I was trying to be nice. I gave in, and she wasn't really happy about it. But I cleaned it up and I apologized, and I owned up to the fact that I was trying to be nice over what I thought that she would want.
Yeah, and so the situation gave you insights into yourself in certain particular situations where you'll be nice.
Yeah, and
so when does that happen to other people?
Me? Like when does it happen to me or other people?
Well, both.
I'm sure that it's happened to other people a lot. I mean, that it's like in our culture. We're taught to be nice, and so that's what we're talking about. Is where's the balance? Because I don't want to teach Mecca that she needs to do things that she really doesn't want to do or that are against her heart's desire or her soul's desire in order to appease other people.
Well, and as you're saying that, I'm thinking it's not even a balance in the way I used to think about balance, because this issue has come up for me a lot recently in other situations I have in business and stuff, where it has become evident to me that I must stand my ground and confront somebody. And I've learned that I don't have to confront them angrily or frustrated, But I do have to be very clear that this is not going to work this way. This will have to change. And so when you say that where do you strike the balance, it's not an either or conversation for me. It's a conversation of, in this situation, I would, if I caught it ahead of time, I'd tell this person, I simply do not give out my daughter's email address. Blanket. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, in hindsight, I get that, but like in the moment, I felt like pressure. It was like,
of course,
people were standing around, and she was there. So I see, and I can make the correction, but it goes beyond just that. I mean, how often have maybe you asked your kid to go to a birthday party they really didn't want to go to, or to do something like that. I want my daughter to be social. I want her to be involved and active, and I want to give her a platform to have a wonderful life. And I also want to create the space for her to not do the things that she really doesn't want to do.
Right, because now the other side of the coin is when I was growing up in the past generation, and maybe our parents, it wasn't even a question a lot of times. We were told, you got to do this. You're
going here, you're going there.
And under the guise of you got to respect elders, you got to do what they say, even if I knew in my heart or soul I didn't want to do it. It was like compliance rather than being true to your own heart. So with comply.
that in mind, and so there's still some of that in me.
Too.
There's still some of that in me where it's more important to appear nice and to go along than to really just stand in my truth. And that's the bottom line. That's what I got to see, where sometimes I still don't stand in my truth, even though I want to, and I think I do, but in that situation, I didn't.
Yeah, and this may have happened. This type of thing can happen to you too, where you're caught off guard in a spontaneous, in the moment situation, and someone asks you for something that you really don't want to do or say, but it happens so fast.
Yeah, and it happened fast. Like I said, I felt pressure because there were other people around. I didn't want to make a scene. I didn't want to make it into a big deal.
Right, and it's not even another adult. This is another child.
Well, yeah,
but you don't want to hurt the child's feelings.
Yeah, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. And so, but I got to see where I did a disservice to my child.
Right.
Trying to be nice, and that's definitely not what I want to teach her. Going through the world to try to be nice and then to not follow her own heart's desires.
Exactly, because it's possible you even forget and lose your heart's desires when you're trying to be nice all the time and get people to like you. That in essence is the crux of it. You want to be liked more than you want to be honest.
And so what I realize also now that we're talking, it's trying to be nice and also being afraid to say no.
And being afraid to say no, because that's the other thing we were raised in our generation, was you can't say no to an adult. You got to be obedient. You got to be obedient to teachers.
Not even an adult. I'm just talking about being afraid to say no. I mean, I'm not even talking about hierarchy or anything like that. It's like, if I say no, will they be mad? If I say no, will their feelings be hurt? If I say no, will they ever invite me again? If there's like just a whole series of conversations that come up in my subconscious that I wasn't even aware of around just saying, that doesn't work or something like that. I've gotten much better over the years, but I see in that situation where I was still afraid to just say, no, that doesn't work.
Yeah. So we'd love to hear from you about your type of situations regarding this issue, because we're working it out. And my hope is that my generation would, for the most part, be the last generation to be so blindly obedient because we were beat down into being submissive in that way. And I hope my daughter is
now
not.
Were you beat down into being submissive? I think you're being a little dramatic. I wasn't beat down.
I don't know. The bell had a lot to do with it. The bell was a regular issue.
I was not beat down into submission, so that's that you speak for yourself.
I may be being a little extreme.
Yeah, you're being extreme and dramatic. Yes. Speak for yourself, because I wasn't beat down.
Anyhow, weren't you told to respect your elders?
Yeah, but
even people that did not deserve to be respected.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I don't think that was my experience. I don't remember.
Did you ever have teachers that were abusive or did not deserve your respect?
No, I didn't have abusive teachers.
Okay. Nice. Pearly gates here.
Well, no, it's not that, but I mean, I just want to, try to be as accurate as I can, and I didn't.
Okay.
But like I said, it's part of my personality, or has been part of my personality of, I'm a Libra. It's like, I got to weigh the scales. I want balance. I want, peace for everyone. So it's kind of part of my personality. And so it takes effort for me.
Yeah, well, I grew up with 2 older brothers where it was a beat down on a regular basis.
So that explains a lot about you.
It does.
All right. Well, anything else? Thank you for joining us. Did you have
this was
else?
Supposed to be about you.
Well, it was about me. I owned it.
Yes, you did.
Thank you for joining us. 21 Lessons to Empower the New Age Kid is available on Amazon.com. Please visit my website, SandraJonesKeller.com. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.